Hello, everyone. First of all, thank you so much for being here. I'm very honored to be here today presenting a little bit about my work, about my approach to storytelling, and I hope this session will make you think a little bit about it, reflect a little bit, and I aim that by the end of this session, you leave here with certain tools that you can apply on your next assignment, on your next shoot. So hopefully, I will achieve this goal. So I'm just waiting. Oh, it's here. So I'm Anna Backhaus. I'm a documentary photographer and storyteller. The subjects of my choice are families. My approach is very much photo reportage, photojournalism, you will see. And I will be talking a little bit about my story and myself a little bit ahead. Before anything else, I would like to start with a question for you. Why do we take photographs? Think about it for a moment. Really think about it. Is it to capture what we see? Is it to document what's in front of us? Or it is something deeper than anything else? I believe storytelling, it's about revealing how we feel. It's about capturing moments and tell stories that matter. It's about freezing in time moments that cannot be repeated. I believe storytelling starts even much before you even pick up your camera. And I'm not here today to teach you camera settings. Canon does that beautifully. I'm here today to share with you my framework and my approach to storytelling. And I try to compress it in a very simple word, which is lens, and I call it the lens philosophy. So I will be sharing with you this framework, and we go one by one through what lens philosophy means. What makes photography storytelling? Let me show you 3 photos here, all from the same subject, families, but all of them with a different feeling. And why is that? Because the story isn't in the frame. The story is actually in the photographer, in how they see, in how they perceive reality, and the intention and what the intention is when they press the shutter. And today we will be talking about intentional storytelling. All the intention you put when you press that shutter. But why families? Why did I choose families as the subjects of my absolute choice? Because families are rich in legacy and history. Because they are keepers of story, keepers of traditions, witnesses of each other's lives. And when I photograph a family, I'm not just capturing a moment. I'm just preserving a chapter of their history. I'm creating legacy for them, for the generations to come. It's not about the glass lens. It's about the human behind the lens, the human that takes and captures all the narrative and all the story. Through my journey, I understood that there's elements to storytelling. And once you understand those elements, it's when everything changes. So what is lens about? Look inward. Who you are. What's your story? Who are you as a person? You are what you see, right? So everything that you experience up to today makes you the person you are. All your experience, all your baggage, in the end, it's your superpower because it makes you unique. So this is what I mean by looking inwards, but we will go a little bit more ahead, and I will talk a little bit more in depth. Engage authentically. How do you connect? And when I talk about how you connect, I'm not talking about what are the subjects of your choice for you to photograph. I'm talking how do you connect with the subjects, with the people, or with the landscape, if you are a landscape photographer, if you are a wildlife photographer, how do you connect with the subjects of your choice? Narrow your focus. What really moves you? This is a lot about intuition. What is that you're really passionate about photographing? Every photographer has maybe more, but at least one very, very strong subject of their choice. And also, narrow your focus is all about when you are in the field, do you try to photograph everything? Do you try to tell all the stories? Maybe it's better to narrow the focus and just photograph one by one. But we will go a little bit more ahead. Share their story. How do you deliver the story? How do you do the choice process? How do you mount the narrative until you really build the storytelling? The best photographers don't just master their gear, they master themselves first. I'm a strong believer, the more you know yourself, the more you know your story, the more intentional you are in the field, and the better photographer you become, the better storyteller you become, because you're not making only choices based, this is beautiful, you're going so much deeper than that. You are intentional, you understand the why you are seeing the way you are seeing. Oh, sorry. But before we go deep into the lens philosophy, let me show you how all these elements come together into my work. And what I would like to share next is a video, a slideshow of one of the sessions that I offer to my clients, which is a day in a life. In this case, is a day on holidays where I spend a full day with my clients just documenting how life unfolds naturally. I don't pose, I don't direct them, I'm just present and let them be themselves, enjoying and sharing with me a little bit of how their day looks like in a certain time of their life with children and so on. So how do you look inward? It's all about your story. What is your baggage? What it's all experience? So I can share you how my story influences my work. And I would like to share a little bit about it. So I'm an architect. My background is architecture, structure, control, precision. That's what architecture gave it to me, which I later understood that control is actually enemy of storytelling. That led me to become in the travel industry. I was a flight attendant for many years, traveling the world. It gave me the chance to read people, to adapt, to be attentive to their unspoken needs. And actually, I saw the world from 30,000 feet, but I learned how to see people from up close. So I use that experience a lot in my photography, and I believe I'm definitely a better photographer because I had this experience in my life. And then it came Namibia. Namibia was where everything changed for me. It was my honeymoon, it was in Namibia, and it was the beginning of my journey, not only the journey as a married person, but also my journey in photography. The vastness, the silence, the wildlife, the culture. I was compelled to take photographs, even without thinking. And I bought my first DSLR. I took it at the time. It was already a Canon. And I was just, even without much knowledge, this was already 10 years ago, even without much knowledge, I really felt drawn to take photos and take pictures. And that's what I understood, that I learned how to feel the moment more than controlling or planning it. So that's what Namibia gave to me. And then it came motherhood, changed everything once more, especially when I was flying. I just wanted to capture the moment. I felt that I was missing out, and I just wanted to freeze all the little details. I just wanted to capture what was fleeting and running away from my fingers. So that's when I started more interested in documenting legacy, family, and so on. And then it became a crucial moment where my mom became ill. And that's when I understood that moments were precious. And I was lucky enough to document my mom and my son during COVID in our countryside house. And after she passed, these photos are everything for my son to know about their relationship, because he was too young to remember. So these photos became legacy. The way she looks at him And I was just documenting them as they are, no planning, no poses, nothing, no direction. And the way she looks at him, the way she holds his hands, the way he looks at her, and without even knowing how important this relationship is. In that moment, that's when I understood that we document life and we document real life, and these moments would outlive us, and that's when they become really legacy. So how do you do the inner work? When I'm in the field, I'm constantly asking questions. This keeps me really focused and intentional and stops me from photographing in autopilot. And what are these questions that I do in the field? Why am I attracting to this moment? What emotions does it trigger in me? What would I want to remember if I were experiencing this? What are my challenges? What are my favorables? So I'm constantly assessing which space I am in. And I'm assessing not only the physical space, but also the emotional space that I'm in. Constantly thinking, reflecting. Because self-awareness doesn't cloud the story. It clarifies it. And it's not that I'm projecting my story onto their story. I'm just being aware why I'm seeing what I'm seeing, and this helps me tell their truths, because understanding this helps me honor their truth and their story in a much better way. So this is how I do in the field my inner work, and my brain is constantly asking questions and repeating itself over and over again. These are just examples. I do much more questions than this very often. So I would like to propose you an exercise, no need to be now, but I would like to propose you this exercise whenever you have some time before your next assignment. So this exercise is a little bit of journaling, and you can write it or you can just do a mental exercise. Just reflect a little bit. What's your story? What's my story? What keeps showing up in my work? One of the ways that I learned so much about myself and about my work was having my work critiqued. And I know not everyone is ready sometimes to receive critique on their work, and not everyone is good critiquers on their work, so I always chose my work to be critiqued by people that I respect in the industry. But this is very important for you to become aware of certain patterns, because sometimes we are too involved in our work in order to have the clarity to know what repetitions keep appearing in our work. What am I really interested constantly over and over again? And sometimes it's important for us to make that reflection, and sometimes to have an external person to make that reflection. But I do reflect a lot about my work because that's how I evolve. And we are constantly evolving. Our work is evolving, our storytelling is evolving, and that's a very good thing. So what am I avoiding photographing and why? This is also something very important. I'm sure any one of you has certain things, if you really think about it, that you avoid maybe photographing, or maybe you don't want to get too close from people, or maybe you prefer to be or you prefer to shoot wider. And why is that? Because it's a different feeling. A photo has a completely different feeling. If you use, for example, and if you are close from your subjects on a 35mm lens, or if you are on a telephoto, the feeling of a moment changes dramatically. If you are physically close from the moment, or if you are just on a zoom lens, getting close to the moment. The feeling is totally different. So it's just a little bit reflection. It seems like therapy, even though it's much cheaper, but I just think it's something important to share, and maybe it's a good reflection to do before your next assignment. Because self-awareness definitely makes you a better storyteller, and your gear can be amazing, can be fantastic, but it cannot tell the story for you. Yeah? The gear is just a tool, but your eyes, you as a human, you are the one that actually have the power to tell the story itself. Engage authentically, and why connection matters and why connection is so important. I believe you have to have, first of all, the more passionate about you are from the subject you are photographing, the more you are invested in telling the story, right? So this is one thing. And then another thing, if you are photographing either people, even in wildlife, I would say, I think some of the best photographers are the ones that we almost feel in the wildlife that it's almost the animal comes through the photo and it's engaged with the photographer. There's a connection there, and that's so deep and so interesting. So, but especially if you're photographing people, connection gives you what? Gives you access. Gives you the moment when people forget that you are there. That's the moment where everything unfolds. The moment my clients forget about my camera, about me, that's when everything happens and the magic happens. And how do you build connection? One very important thing, clear your mind from assumptions. Go with an open heart, with a pair of fresh eyes to the story. Don't, because you're not there to judge. You're just there to embrace and to receive what story they have to give to you. So ask meaningful questions. Sometimes I don't ask many questions, but if I ask questions, I don't tell them, oh, can you do this in that light because it fits me? No, I ask more questions about what's your morning routine, or tell me something about this moment in your life that you would like to remember. Engage with them. Ask things that are meaningful and not just tell them what to do. Let them know you're human too. Relatability helps you bring the truth from your subjects. The more they connect with you, the more they feel relatable with your story. I share often about me, about my experience also as a mother, and the more this relatability exists, the more safe they feel, and the more they open they are opening their physical space, and they open also their emotional space. So relatability is definitely very important. Observe first. And I don't arrive and I just immediately bring my camera and start shooting with them, and then just start taking photos. I engage. I ask them how they are, how's everything. I see the kids. Usually the kids are very curious about me, so I interact a little bit with them. And only after I build a little bit of warmth, that's when I take my camera and slowly I start photographing them, and then it evolves. Listen actively to anticipate. The best photos come when you are prepared for them. So very often, I'm never with my camera. I use a belt, and I'm never with my camera down. My camera is always here. I'm always ready. Even when I'm engaging and when I'm connecting with my subjects, my camera is always ready for me to go and shoot. Listening actively gives me also the possibility of anticipation. So when the moment comes, I am prepared already to photograph it. Adapt to their energy. I don't force energy. If they are quiet, I match that energy. If they are active, chaotic, and messy, I allow it, I embrace it, and I go for it. So I match their energy, and I don't try to change it in any way. Read the surroundings. Yeah, I'm constantly understanding where am I, where my space, what is my darker spot, where is my lighter spot, where is my best framing maybe, how can I capture this moment in the best way possible, that it's not so cluttered, what objects in the living room are meaningful to the story and meaningful to my subjects. So I'm constantly, this is again, asking questions, observing, keep always, my brain never stops. I seem engaged and talkative, and I am truly engaged, but at the same time, I'm multitasking and I'm constantly asking all these questions. Master your gear. You don't want to be thinking when you are in the field about camera settings. I'm a Canon user. I love their cameras, and I love the fact that they allow me to do my job when the camera does its job. So my camera is set for me to forget about my gear, because the most important in the moment is that you connect, you build trust, and you are ready to capture the moment. Narrow your focus. And how do you narrow your focus? Choose the story you want to say, and then go deep. Go deep into that story. And what story is it that you want to tell? What is really important for you to tell? Because don't try to tell all the stories. You are one person. You cannot be everywhere. So, and if you try to say everything, you end up scattered, and you end up chasing after moments and losing your intention and your focus. So, about the subject, I choose families because motherhood chose me. But what's your subject? Is it street? Is it landscape, wildlife, fashion, people, architecture? What is it that really you love to photograph, and everybody has one subject that they call theirs. And mine is families, yours can be something else. Families and people, and yours can be any other. Besides this, obviously, when you are in the field, there's all the layers that come within. And what I talk about layers and focus on the field, it was just what I was saying, that you have the wider story, which is the whole dynamic of the people that you're photographing, how they interact, their dynamic, everything. Then you have parts of the story, which is each individual. Who are they as humans? Even each children has a personality. Who are they as humans? And then you have the micro stories, which is depending on the photos you choose in the end result, you can tell a story how the siblings interact within each other, how the mother interacts with their children, how the father interacts with their children. So this is what I call the micro stories. And then when you deliver a whole, you have all this coming together, the whole, the parts, and the micro stories. And all this layering, it's fantastic because it's almost like peeling, and peeling stories, like going deep. And the more deep, what I feel sometimes it lacks on certain work that I see is depth. The more you peel these layers, the more in depth you go into the story. And that depth is what is going to make your work extraordinary and unique. Personal projects. I'm a believer that personal projects definitely help you to evolve, and because they have 100% creative freedom, you are not worried about delivering anything to anyone. Personal projects are definitely assignments that you do on your own, just to be free to discover yourself as a photographer, as a storyteller. Try, experiment, do whatever it is that you like to do, but do it in a personal project. I love personally to have personal projects. It's not that I'm always doing them, but definitely something that I highly recommend, because you know, the story evolves, the story changes. Sometimes you start a story and you think it's going to take a course, and the more you are in depth in that story, it changes and you evolve, and the story, in the beginning you think you're going to say a story about something, and in the end you're going to say a completely different story. It's still, and that process is fantastic. Some of my best work definitely came from personal projects too. So the moment you made the look inward, you engage, you connect, you narrow your focus, you can choose the gear that best serves you. For me, because I'm photographing children a lot of times, I need a reliable gear and a fast gear, and I customize, so I have 2 Canon R6 Mark II, hopefully soon 2 R6 Mark III. And I love this camera. I believe that I'm going to love even more the Mark III, but so far this is what I have. And I customize all the buttons in the camera precisely because in the field I don't want to be thinking about settings. I don't want to be thinking about, I shoot in manual, but I have all the buttons customized to very quickly change the settings as my needs and as the story needs me to adapt and adjust. I make it simple also in terms of lenses. I have a Canon RF 2870 f2, one Canon RF 35 1.4, and the Canon RF 85 f2. My go-to is definitely for storytelling the 35. It's light, it's very good. Mainly indoors, it's fantastic. Also for outdoors, but usually outdoors, either I have the 2870 also, or I have the 85, because that allows me, especially children run very fast, and sometimes I'm not as fast if they suddenly decide to start running. So sometimes that's the 85 or the 2870 allows me to anticipate a little bit more and follow the moment a little bit quicker. So the key takeaway from all of this, choose your story that resonates with your soul and then go really deep. Not just deep into your subject, but deep into the layers within the story, right? The whole, the parts, the micro stories that live inside every moment. That's where the magic is. How do we share their story? How are you going then to share the story that you just document? From capture to narrative, curation is very, very important, because selecting the images, you should be doing it in an emotional arc. It's like a movie. Beginning, middle, the end. All those details that sometimes the parents are not even aware. They need to be there, because those are the photos that they wanna remember from 20 years from now. So sequencing and the order creates meaning. So it's very important to create, the moment you finish the shoot, it's very important, all the curation process, in order to tell the right story. The reveal. So how do I usually recommend my clients to see the story? We had an experience together, right? I was there with them. I witnessed all those moments. So them seeing it, it's where everything comes to a whole. And what I usually ask them is that they take an afternoon or an evening together where they can see the slideshow, the storytelling slideshow together. And my absolutely favorite thing to listen after I seek for feedback, because usually I always ask, because that's how I can evolve and how can I improve my work and how can I get better. It's always when they say, this is us. We saw us, we saw our dynamic, we saw who we are as family through your slideshow, through your photos. And this, for me, that's absolutely my aim and my goal, and I'm so happy when they see that. Because great photography makes people feel seen, great storytelling makes people feel understood. Techniques and ethics. So always be ready for any situation. Listen, active listening, as I said before. Master your gear and then forget about it. And this is, for me, a very important thing and of course it comes with practice, it comes with familiarity with the gear. I'm a Canon user since 10 years, so obviously I'm very familiar now with their systems, with their cameras. I'm not a very complicated person in terms of techniques also. I'm a very simple, I try to simplify my methods very much. But master your gear, and in the moment, just focus about connecting, trust, and seeing, observing what's in front of your eyes. Embrace, break the rules if needed. Well, this can be subject to discussion, but break the rules when emotion demands it. And this is what I really mean. To me, light composition moments, I'm honest, I'm a very moment-driven kind of person. If a moment is strong, I take that photo, even if my light and my composition are not technically perfect. And this is what I meant by breaking the rules. If emotion demands it, break the rule. The truth is what matters. The feeling that you bring into the photo is what matters the most. So embrace imperfection. Don't think about the perfect, because when you think about the perfect, there's so many imperfect moments happening in front of my eyes. I will miss so many good photos if I would constantly be thinking, oh, I have to take the perfect photo, the perfect shot. No, embrace it as it comes. Embrace the imperfection. Try to make the best out of it, but just document it. Don't let it pass you. Chase the feeling, not perfection. There you go. Emotion over perfection. Well, that's a very personal approach. That's a lot my approach. But I'm a strong believer that when emotion is there, you can see it through the photos. Your responsibility as a storyteller, very important. When someone shares their environment, their world, and trust with you, that's sacred. We cannot modify the story to fit our needs, right? To fit our vision. We should be loyal to their truth. We are there to tell and document their truth. So honesty, respect, they should feel empowered when they see your story. When they see your photos, people should feel empowered and not exposed, right? So this, for me, it's very important, especially dealing with children. Consent matters, and matters a lot. I sign model releases with my clients. Some of them sign them, some of them don't. I do respect the privacy of my clients 100%. And even if when they sign the model release, I'm still very careful and responsible because in the end, storytelling can build bridges or can create walls. How you share their story to the world, it's also going to affect how others see them, right? So this is a huge responsibility we have as storytellers and as people's persons, because we are sharing them, and they open the doors for you. They trust you. They felt safe with you to share themselves with you. So we need to honor that, for sure. And finding your voice. How do you find your voice? Get to know yourself, really self-reflect who you are. Everything, once again, your experiences, everything you experienced until today, it's not, it makes you definitely a better storyteller. It's really your superpower, and because that makes you the person you are today, and the person you are today makes you be more intentional when you are in the field. So, and as a conclusion, the final thoughts about looking inward. Once again, know yourself, know your story, know your why. Why you are a photographer. What is it really? Engage authentically. How do you connect? Build connection. Trust gives you access. Gives you access not only to the physical space, but also to the emotional space. Connection first, camera second. Narrow your focus. Choose your story, go deep, find the layers. Find the wide, the parts, and the micro stories within the overall. Share their story. Curate with intention. How you're going to deliver your story. You were months, sometimes some people on assignments are months and months photographing the same subject. How do they deliver to them? It's also important, right? Very important. Curate with intention, sequence for emotional impact, make them feel understood and not just seen. I would love to prompt you on an exercise on the next month, next week, as you wish. Photograph someone you love, someone that has a meaning for you, that you really care about, and ask yourself, what's my story here? What do I want to remember from this person? What do I want them to feel when they see the image 20 years from now? Can be 5 years from now. 20 years from now is probably maybe a long time now, especially if you are doing this for the first time. But what do you want people to see, to feel when they see the images? And I would like maybe to add here one, which is what's my relationship with, how do I feel about these subjects? What's my love? Can be your son, can be your mother, can be your spouse, can be anyone really that you love, can be your dog. So just reflect a little bit about all these questions, and then I'll engage authentically. Then don't just shoot. When I'm in the field, I'm not a fly on the wall. I'm engaging. I'm a tall person. I'm not, and I have a big lens, a big camera on me, so I'm not invisible. I'm not a fly on the wall trying to hide myself and documenting. No, I'm present. I'm there. I'm engaged. I share the experience. Like what I mean, I share. I mean, I'm present with them, engaging with them, because the more I engage with them, the more access they give me to their true selves. So spend time first, talk, listen, connect. Don't just show up and shoot. Because otherwise your work is going to feel very surface level. Go deep into those layers. Go deep into the story, because that's where you're going to grab the gold. Narrow your focus. Don't try to capture everything. Choose your focus, understand the dynamic, start from particular to wider or vice versa. But go deep into that. Be in the moment with them and find all those layers and that complexity, and you will see a difference. And then share their story. And when you share the images with the person you chose to photograph, just watch their face. Just see their reaction. That's your feedback. That's going to be definitely your feedback. And that's your measure for success. Hopefully, I'm really hoping that you have a lot of success then in this exercise. This is the lens philosophy in action. This is my framework to storytelling. This is what the art of storytelling is all about. And this is what I believe and what I learned from my experience and from years telling stories, documenting people. I really try to compress this into a framework, and I didn't skip any of these steps. I'm very loyal to what I'm sharing with you today, because I really believe it's true, and I really believe all these components will definitely make you a stronger photographer and a stronger storyteller. Thank you so much for coming here today, for allowing me to share a little bit about my story, my work with you. Before anything else, I just would like to listen from you. What is one thing that you took, if there's one thing you could say that you took from here today, can you share with me one tip or one thing that you took from here today?
Hi.
Hi.
Great lecture. Thank you.
Thank you.
Actually, extremely inspiring to me. The lens philosophy is a new angle for me to look at things. That look inward and then engage and then narrow and then share and connect. All very strong, but I do have a challenge with the first step, look inwards. The reason your session is very inspiring is because you found your niche, you found your passion, you found your story, which is documenting and storytelling families. A lot of photographers, including myself, haven't found their niche. They enjoy photography. They have tried different aspects or sectors or domains in whatever they're photographing, whether personal or professional, cars, landscapes. We've had a few sessions here in the festival where the lecturers or the speakers would show they're doing astrophotography and then landscape and then wildlife and then street and then food and whatnot. So it's a common thing with a lot of photographers that they have not found the one thing they are passionate about. So if someone is right now, in this period of time, they're enjoying car photography, for example, and they are going to a session where they're going to shoot a newborn in a family. How should that reflect, or how would they answer the first aspect of the philosophy about look inwards? Because that will be a big question mark. I don't know if I look inwards, I don't know what I'm going to find, so I don't know how to reflect it on the subject of photography.
Sure. I can answer that for you. If you go onto my website, I also do wedding photography. I do branding photography. But I always bring one thing to the approach of anything I shoot, storytelling. That's my conduct line in everything I do. So my advice to you, you can, in the beginning, it's normal to feel lost. It's normal to try a lot of things. But the more you go into photography, the more you are experienced, the more you do it. Especially if you become a full-time photographer like me 5 years ago. So I started photography journey 10 years ago, but since 5 years, I'm a full-time photographer. So especially when you really go into the full-time, then you will understand the patterns that I just said. Observe your work. Even if you have car photography, even if you have completely different fields of photography, try to actually put them together into, I don't know which program you use, if it's Lightroom, whatever, but put them together and try to reflect on try to find connections between your work. Maybe it's about guiding lines. Maybe it's about black and white. There's photographers that just shoot black and white, right? So what connections do you find? And maybe you even say, I don't find anything. But maybe you don't find anything today, but after this session, you are more self-aware. And maybe, slowly, you're going to keep working, and you're going to start to find that conduct line that will make your work much more even. And no matter what you are photographing, I can give you an example. Like I said, that you can apply the lens philosophy to many fields, including landscape. If I would go to approach a landscape right now, if I would have to photograph landscape today, I would just start asking myself questions. What do I feel in this space right now? What do I feel in this moment? What this landscape makes me feel? Do I feel tiny? Do I feel majestic? Is this a narrow space, or is it a wonderful wide space? What type of nature am I surrounded by? Greens, by desert? So the more you keep questioning yourself about how you feel, how your emotions are in the space you are experiencing, the more your photography is going to go in depth. And when you take photos of that landscape, those emotions will come into the photos, and that will make your photograph more unique and not just a landscape photograph. Did I translate what I wanted to say? Great. So it's a journey. It's not immediate. It doesn't start from one point you are lost, and on the other one you just know everything about it. But it's just today I just wanted to give you a reflection for you to just be more self-aware, and from this point onwards, maybe start asking yourself some questions and, observing your work in a different way. Yeah, that was my full purpose. Before we really finish, I will have here I have some rewards for you. So I would like to ask you, what's the camera that I use? Canon what? What is the system?
Canon R6 Mark II, right?
Perfect. I'm going to give you the first one. There you go. Thank you so much. Thank you for being attentive too. Ah, sorry. Sure. Sure.
Sorry, yeah.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Thank you.
Thank you. So, what was the philosophy I was teaching here today? What's the name of my philosophy? Lens philosophy. Thank you so much. Okay. Well, you take a nice... Great. There you go. Yeah. Thank you. And the last one, if you can record, which lens did I say that it's my go-to? Yes, you were for very first one. Yeah?
Your favorite lens?
The lens that I said that it's my favorite go-to. That I said,
And the 28 to 70.
No. There was one that I said that it's my go-to because it's light and because it's very easy to...
85. No? 35?
It was not the 85. Okay. No, it was not that one. Yeah, it was the 35 1.4. I said that it was light and it's my storytelling lens. Yeah? Even though I have the three of them, but the 35 1.4 is definitely my storytelling and the one that never misses on my shoots. Come here. Let's take a photo. Yeah, I just don't know if you took the photo, sorry. Yeah, thank you. So thank you so much. If you have any questions to me, I'm happy to, I don't know if we have time, how we are in terms of time. Oh, we are over. Okay, so that's it. But if you want, you can come to me. I'm going to be in the Canon booth. So if you want, if you have any questions, just please feel free to come and tell me, okay? Thank you so much. Thank you.